President Trump taking off the gloves to deliver a major blow against potential 2020 rival Joe Biden.
I dream about Biden. That's a dream. Look, Joe Biden ran 3 times. He never got more than 1%. And President Obama took him out of the garbage heap, and everybody was shocked that he did. I'd love to have it be Biden. I think I'd like to have any one of those people that we're talking about. You know, there's probably the group of 7 or 8 right now. I'd like to run against any one of them. But Biden never by himself could never do anything. President Obama took him, made him vice president, and he was fine.
Crazy Uncle Joe is saying he's going to make a decision about taking on Trump by January. If he does, here's a preview of potential coming attractions.
They asked me, would I like to debate this gentleman? And I said, no. I said, if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
I got Biden. He said, I'd like to take him behind the gym. Oh, I dream of that. Biden.
I'd like to take him behind the gym if I were in high school. I mean, all kidding aside, wouldn't you? I mean, for real.
Can you imagine if I ever made that statement? Donald Trump is a bully. He threatened Vice President Biden, but he can say it. Everyone thought, oh, that was a wonderful statement.
Look, folks, I gotta...
You know what you do with Biden? You go like this. And he'd fall over. Just... Tough guy, Mr. Tough Guy. Mr. Tough Guy.
So before we get to that news, there's some other news I want to address. I have a new hairstyle that I'm debuting.
There we go.
And I want to take it around the table. If anybody can notice to the side, it's a little different. What do you think, Greg?
I was going to say, if you think Biden is running, you're as high as Jesse's hair, because you're a cross between Morrissey and Elvis in the bad years.
I was going to take that as a compliment.
I think it looks like you just got out of a nice convertible.
Thank you.
Parked it right outside the offices, came into work.
Thank you very much,
Very,
Abby.
very refreshed.
Much nicer than Greg. What about you, Juan? Juan, you're looking at me like you've never seen a hair like this before.
I didn't notice. I feel bad because
you
know, like
you don't pay enough attention.
I should pay more attention to my friends. But I mean, I don't know. It looks.
It's to the side and parted more wavy back.
What are you trying to accomplish?
My hairstylist took a month off, so this is out of necessity. I just haven't gotten it cut, so I just tried to rework it. What do you think, Kennedy?
I thought the best reaction was from Michelle backstage, who was one of the hair people here at Fox. And you asked her if she liked your new hair, and she went, huh.
Yeah, she doesn't want anything to do with this.
I think it looks like you went downhill skiing without a helmet, and that's a compliment.
All
that's
right.
Very outdoorsy.
All right, well, let's get to the news. Greg, what did you think about this potential matchup, Biden versus Trump?
Well, it just tells you how hard it is to be a Democrat. Is this a party or a rest home? And Biden is a walking gaffe machine, but it's not just his mouth. It's his hands. This guy, he shouldn't be running for president. He should be the head of the TSA. He is so touchy-feely. He doesn't just feel your pain. He feels everything. He misses calling as a chiropractor. But I don't think, you know what's funny?
What?
You know who gave us Trump? I think President Obama gave us Trump by talking Biden out of running. If he hadn't talked Biden out, because wasn't Biden thinking about it, and then...
Well, he didn't want to go against Hillary.
Yeah.
It was her turn.
It was her
remember?
turn. Exactly.
So do you think that Biden could get through a primary against Bernie Sanders? I mean, that's going to be a tooth-and-nail knockout brawl, I think.
Well, so talk about geriatric, yeah. You know, so the whole idea is Biden would be like 78.
Yeah.
78, that's pretty... But then you think, wait a minute, Trump is like 74.
But he's high energy.
Oh, please. So, I mean, you say, oh, the Democrats, you know, what kind of party is this? What do they have? But look at what the Republicans have done with a 70-year-old man, right? So, I mean, I don't see any big difference. But can he get past Bernie? I think one of the big negatives for... Vice President Biden, Senator Biden, however you want to say it, is there's a lot of baggage there having to do with things like his stand on abortion in the Democratic Party. But also, remember, he was a big advocate in terms of questioning for Clarence Thomas and those hearings. And I think a lot of women might have questions about it. I don't think it's a matter of touchy-feely. You can control that. And, boy, does President Trump ever have some issues with touchy feely?
But not on camera.
Oh, no. That was the NBC tape.
Not with daughters of senators. Kennedy, what do you think?
A couple interesting things here. I think Greg is absolutely right, because not only did President Obama give us President Trump, because it was just a counter reaction to a two-term presidency, and that happens every time, and they're both pretty extreme when you take them apart. But also, President Obama goaded Trump into running at the White House Correspondents Association's dinner. He singled him out from the dais. It was a very funny performance, but he really challenged him, and that's essentially when he got into the race. Biden, this is interesting for Democrats because it says a lot about the party. It says that, you know, there's a big split right now between moderates and progressives. He's polling at the top of the field right now. Sanders actually comes in third, just next to Hillary. So Biden's around 30%, Hillary's 18%, Sanders is 16%, and Warren is at 10%. But it says that they are going in a more moderate direction, that they don't just want a bully, and they don't just want a progressive, and they certainly don't want a progressive bully like Elizabeth Warren.
I think it also shows how short the Democrats' bench is. That as we're talking about the age of Joe Biden, and then the next person in line is Bernie Sanders. I mean, that is where we are right now. Here's what I would say. No one has won trying to out-bully Trump. Right? So it's clear that Joe Biden is wanting to get dirty in the mud with him, and I'm not sure he wants to go there. If he does decide to run, you can expect things to get really, really ugly. I don't know that that's going to be good for this country. I think bigger picture is what is the Democratic Party going to stand for? You know, is Biden going to be the more moderate voice, or is he going to appeal to the Elizabeth Warren crowd? Because ultimately, you got to win the primary first. And a lot of them are talking about abolishing ICE, and they want, you know, less border security. So what is the messaging going to be? I think that's going to be the bigger question.
I think the answer is pretty clear now because, you know, the success of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and much of the party buys into this is the idea that you have good health care in this country. So bring back Affordable Care, Obamacare, however you want to describe it.
But you said good health care.
Yes. Providing it for those who need. Secondly, you have to do something about the high cost of college tuition, so therefore more in that vein. And I think finally you talk about incomes. And earlier this week on this show, we talked about whether or not guaranteed incomes are socialist or whatever. But more and more Americans think, yeah, you know what? There are too many people.
All three of those aspects where government does not need a bureaucratic stranglehold on healthcare or education or jobs or anything else. I mean, that's the problem. When government gets in the way of all of that, you stifle growth. But back to Joe Biden, he's a politician, and I think he will be able to triangulate. He's also really well liked. That's one of the problems that the rest of the field, other than Bernie Sanders, they have a hard time with that critical likability. And obviously, you know, other than Facebook and Latvian bot farms and Russia, that's what tanked him.
And he's a lifelong politician. And I don't know if this country wants more of the establishment, more of the swamp, more of these professional politicians.
Can I raise the thing I said that you mocked me for? I don't believe it was, I can't remember. It was 2 days ago.
Is it still stinging?
Yes, it is. Hillary. If Hillary doesn't have a rematch, and I believe the specter of a rematch will outweigh the dislike for her within the party. I think that the idea of a rematch could be so big historically. Probably the most historical presidential election in history would be a rematch between Trump and Hillary, that everybody would want it because she can't. It'll be the first line in her obituary that she lost to Trump. She has to fix that.
There would be a draft Hillary movement?
I don't think she could make it. I don't think she'll be the nominee. I don't think she will survive the primary process.
I mean, she barely got through Bernie, and it's only because she rigged it. All right, now let's look at the midterm elections, which are only about 2 months away, a little bit over that. House Democrats are unveiling their new campaign slogan. You ready? It's called For the People. They're also reaching out to supporters with power players like Michelle Obama. The former First Lady is launching a voter registration initiative featuring anti-Trump celebs. She's also making comments that may remind you of this.
And let me tell you something. For the first time in my adult life, I am proud of my country because it feels like hope is finally making a comeback.
In a speech in Scotland this week, Mrs. Obama reportedly said, quote, "The last election in my country does not give me hope." All right, Greg, you want to take on Michelle Obama or the new Dem slogan?
The slogan is pure communism. Anytime you see people in it, it's communist, like the People's Republic of China. That doesn't sound too democratic to me.
How about we the people?
I'm against that as well.
Yeah, which people are the Democrats talking about?
Yeah, we the people, huh?
Yeah, is it illegal aliens or the people that's the people they want?
You know, that's what was the problem with the earlier part of this conversation. You're saying, oh, Joe Biden's a bully. He's threatening to beat up Trump. Trump said something about grabbing women in a certain part, you know? Oh, I remember that now. Maybe if we offered some context, the audience would say, oh, good for Joe Biden.
No one's saying that Trump isn't a bully.
Juan's saying all the things he wasn't able to say earlier.
No, I'm just saying, when you like context, when you say, oh, what about Biden? What about Biden's age? What about Trump's age?
Okay, well, let's move on.
But also the celebrities part of this, I think we learned from 2016 that celebrities don't win elections. I mean, how many times we saw Katy Perry, Miley Cyrus on that stage with Hillary Clinton?
And they actually lose
trying to get the
elections.
vote?
Remember that
But Trump's a
RNC ad
celebrity,
the other
he won.
day that had all those crazy celebs saying, I want to kill President
If anything, it actually, I think, energizes the base to get out for Republicans a lot of times because they feel like they don't connect with the elites. They don't connect with celebrities. Michelle Obama is also quite popular right now, though, in the Democratic Party. So that is a better move for them than using Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton on his book tour.
She should
that,
run.
That was a disaster.
If Michelle Obama ran...
She might win.
Yeah, no, it would be...
But you're absolutely right. The contrast between the speech that she gave at the DNC in 2016, her farewell speech, that was one of the best speeches of both conventions. And now, you know, people for the first time in their adult lives stood up and said, wow, I really like Michelle Obama. She's making such sense and her message truly resonates. And, you know, she's a lawyer. She essentially has the same background that Hillary Clinton had before she carpetbagged her way to the U.S. Senate.
But to Abby's point, it shows you how shallow the Democratic bench is, that people are looking for a Hail Mary person like Michelle Obama.
Oh,
because there's no way she's running.
What happened to the GOP bench in 16? Donald Trump?
We had 17.
He stepped on all of them. He crushed them all.
But,
right?
but going back to, that's the contrast principle, that when there were 17 similars and one different, the one different always rises above. It's going to happen with the Democrats. You're going to get 17 politicians, and you might get a Michelle, or you might get an Oprah, or you might get a Mark Ruffalo. Who knows? I'd say he's Mark Ruffalo.
So Ruffalo Cortez, and that's the...
That's it.
By the way, I was surprised to see that Tim McGraw and Faith Hill are part of Michelle Obama's team. I thought country music people wouldn't.
No. They've always been pretty liberal.
Well, I'm glad to hear it. I think country music stars are very slow.
You guys can have them.
Dixie
We'll
Chicks
have the
to
rest
say
of the
anything.
country scene.